Chapter 51 Completely Effortless. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh, isn't this little Cor? She's become so much more beautiful recently. Aunt Rome kept working hard on her hands, but her eyes kept looking at Yukur's kind and happy smile. Aunt Rome, I came here today because I wanted to introduce a friend of mine to you. Yukur showed a rare shy expression that was rarely seen in normal times and said, Aunt Rome, this is the friend I want to introduce to you. His name is Yifan. Only then did Aunt Rome follow her gaze to Yifan, who was standing next to Yukir, and her eyes suddenly lit up. Yifan nodded politely and said hello, Aunt Rome. Hey, good. What a handsome and energetic young man. Aunt Rome looked at Yifan, whose appearance and temperament were obviously better than those of ordinary people. Her eyes were filled with admiration, and she quietly pulled Yukir over and joked. Tell me honestly, Auntie, are you talking about a relationship with this handsome guy now? Auntie knows that our Cur is so beautiful and outstanding, and the man she finds will definitely be the best. Aunt Rome's joke made Yukira blush again. She really wanted to confirm her relationship with Yifan, but for a man of this level of wealth, she would never dare to expect Yifan to be the only woman of hers. Being able to bring Yifan to Aunt Rome for a look today as an excuse to eat was already fulfilling her big wish. Okay, you must be hungry at this late hour. Go find a seat and sit down. Auntie will bake you some delicious food and send it over. After saying that, Aunt Rome immediately got busy getting various signature skewers for the two of them to grill. Then thank you Aunt Rome. Yukur thanked her sweetly. Immediately, the two of them found an empty small table and sat down. After a while, the baked food was brought out, and the whole table was filled with densely packed food. During the meal, Yukir always fed Yifan a bite first, and then took the next bite. The two of them looked like a couple in love. The diners around looked at Yifan being completely served and eaten by such a beautiful woman, and they all felt envious. The barbecue that was originally delicious suddenly became bitter and unpalatable. After eating and drinking, Yukir was ready to pay and say goodbye to Aunt Rome before leaving. When she said goodbye and was about to come back and leave with Mark, several gangsters who came for late-night snacks in groups happened to come towards her. Several people looked at Yukur's graceful figure with great interest, and the gang leader Chang Zai took a step forward to stop Yukur. Beauty, are you alone at this late hour? Why don't you stay and have a drink with me? I'm treating you. Chang Zai showed his yellow teeth and winked teasingly at Yukur while talking. Yukir almost vomited and quickly covered her nose to show disgust. Sorry, please give me permission. I'm not interested in what you're talking about. After saying that, Yukur was about to go around a few people and leave, but Chang Zai moved to the side and blocked Yukur's way again, with a hint of menace in his expression. Beauty, don't give me a toast or drink as a penalty. I'm inviting you because I'm giving you face. I advise you not to make the situation too embarrassing. Don't you understand people's words? I already told you I won't go. Yukir was angry, and the quarrel here finally reached the ears of the diners on the side, and everyone looked at the excitement. Chang Zai's expression suddenly turned sinister, and he suddenly grabbed one of Yukur's arms and tried to pull her away to another place. Damn it, you women are deliberately trying to embarrass me, aren't you? Let's see what I do next. Poof! Before Chang Zai could finish his harsh words, a flying kick with huge power suddenly hit him. He flew in an arc in the air, and then landed heavily on a diner's table, spitting out a large mouthful of blood. Damn, you! How dare you kick me? Here, Yifan has firmly held Yukir's other hand, and the latter looked at him with an expression full of admiration and reassurance. Boss! Are you okay? Several gangsters quickly gathered around to help Chang Zai up. Upon seeing this, other diners got up and stayed away, fearing that the dispute would burn them. If you dare to hit our boss, we will fight with you. Brothers, come together. Several gangsters immediately picked up the wine bottle on the table and broke it into two pieces. They rushed towards Yifan and Yifan with the broken bottle. It's over. With so many people beating one person, that handsome guy will be in trouble now. Sure enough, it's better not to take the initiative to start a conflict when encountering this situation. You still have to outsmart him. The beauty was saved by him, but now he got himself involved. Some of the diners watching were worried, and some made excuses after the fact, but no one dared to step forward to stop the gangsters from committing violence. Yi Fan stood there without any panic and placed Yukir in a safe position behind him. He firmly grabbed the first gangster who rushed towards him with one hand, grabbed the other gangster with the other hand, and knocked their heads between them like eggs. The two gangsters were immediately dizzy after the collision, and the broken beer bottle they were holding directly pierced the body of the gangster who came behind. Before Yi Fan could use any of his tricks, 7 or 8 gangsters stopped eating half of their food in an instant. The remaining few were knocked down one by Yi Fan in the simplest way. After a while, the ground was filled with beaten and moaning gangsters, and Yi Fan dusted his clothes with his hands, looking as elegant as usual. The onlookers were stunned. Mom! One person alone took down so many gangsters with murder weapons. And it looks like it's completely effortless, which is so damn powerful. The spectators who had loudly commented that Yi Fan's behavior was too irrational and impulsive were now unable to open their mouths as if they were choked by flies. The female diners couldn't help their eyes widening, staring at Yi Fan's handsome appearance with admiration. Wow! So handsome and so good at fighting. This man is so good. Yes. He looks so manly when he protects his woman. After speaking, a female diner immediately rolled her eyes at the boyfriend next to her. You were farting here just now and saying something about a handsome guy. This is not smart and calm. I think if I was teased today, you might be alone. You don't know where you ran away to. The boyfriend of the female diner hesitated and tried to explain. The more the girl looked at him, the angrier he became, so he just said break up with the scumbag and left angrily. On the other side, Chang Zai, who finally struggled to stand up from the table, picked up a wine bottle and was about to join the brothers in besieging Yi Fan. When he turned around, he saw his brothers vomiting blood and rolling around on the ground one by one. And the boy he wanted to deal with was actually standing unscathed. Chang Zai was also frightened by Yi Fan's strength. Just when he was panicking and not knowing what to do, the familiar figure walking not far away instantly ignited his confidence to teach Yi Fan a lesson. Chapter 52 Kneel down in the street. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Brother Long. You're here just in time. Look at how our brothers were beaten by this bastard. That when Xiangzi saw his boss appear, he immediately limped over and complained to him. With the skills of his boss and the brothers who came with him, he didn't believe that he couldn't deal with that guy. Aaron saw Chang Zai injured like this, and then saw several brothers lying on the ground, and his anger began to rise. Damn it, I want to see which brat dares to touch one of our Failong gang. Let me beat him half to death. After Aaron finished speaking, he rolled up his sleeves and rushed forward. After rushing for a few steps, he remembered to look up to find the instigator. Chang Zai also immediately pointed out to him that Yi Fan, who was standing calmly at this time, was the one who hurt the brothers like this. Aaron shot a fierce look angrily. The next second, after he saw clearly that the person was Mark, his whole pupils couldn't help but tremble. The steps that were originally determined to move forward became a little shaky. Are you sure that this brother is the one who hurt the brothers of the Failong gang? Chang Zai was a little confused by Aaron's suddenly weakened tone. At the same time, he also wondered why his boss suddenly called this brat brother, but he still nodded firmly and said, "That's right, it's him. Boss, let's go up and kill him now to avenge our brothers." Chang Zai said angrily and rushed forward. However, at this moment, Aaron suddenly stopped, turned around and slapped Chang Zai hard. Chang Zai was whipped so hard that he couldn't find his way around. He covered his face and looked at Aaron with shock and confusion. "Brother Long, why are you beating me? Shouldn't we beat that bastard?" The diners present suddenly became a little confused when they saw the gangsters suddenly fighting among themselves. "I'm going to beat you. You dare to be so rebellious and call Mr. Yi a bastard? Don't you want to live anymore?" Aaron shouted at Chang Zai seriously, fearing that his tone was too gentle. He never thought that the person his younger brothers would provoke would be the boss surnamed Yi, who could make his boss Guanmingza take off one of his legs with just one word last time. Damn, he's really a jerk. How could such a big boss figure be something that a little guy like him, Aaron, could mess with? Aaron could only quickly increase his strength and slap Chang Zai a few more times. You were still here just now, saying that you wanted to teach Mr. Yi a lesson. This situation shows that our brothers just did something wrong, so Mr. Yi would be kind enough to teach you the principles of life. You little brats don't care about thanking others, but you still shout and kill them. Isn't this ridiculous? At this time, both sides of Chang Zai's face were swollen to the extreme, his whole body ached and his head felt dizzy. Listening to Aaron's words of teaching him, he was even more stupid. His brother was beaten like this, and the boss still wants him to thank others? Looking at his boss looking at Yi Fan, he looked scared to death. No matter how slow he was, Chang Zai had some reaction. It seems that the boss not only knows this person, but he is also probably very sure about his background and identity, and knows that he is not someone who can be messed with. Chang Zai's face was burning with pain at this time, and his whole heart was filled with uneasiness and fear. Yi Fan on the other side saw Aaron starting to teach Chang Zai a lesson and just snorted lightly. Fortunately, Huang Mao has a good memory, so he doesn't have to waste energy moving his body. Aaron carefully observed Yi Fan's face, and taking advantage of the situation to calm down, he quickly pushed Chang Zai and a few younger brothers and shouted. Why don't you go and admit your mistake to Mr. Yi and apologize? Then quickly clean up the damage you caused here and restore it to its original state for the boss. After Aaron finished speaking, he brought Chang Zai and a few younger brothers to Yi Fan and asked them to kneel down and apologize to Yi Fan. Several gangsters who had been beaten down by Yi Fan were strictly required by Aaron to crawl over and apologize immediately. Aaron's scolding of his brother and the scene of the gangsters kneeling down to Yi Fan completely shocked the diners present. They all looked at Mark in disbelief. Didn't that guy with a green dragon on his left and a white tiger on his right have a head full of yellow hair just now, looking like a street kid, saying he wanted to avenge his gangster brother? Why do you act as timid as a street rat in front of this talented young man? And he actually led the gangsters who caused the trouble to kneel down and apologize on the spot. How much power does this have to make them kneel down so willingly? Oh my God! Is this what it means to conquer someone without fighting? That handsome little brother is really capable. That's right, he's so handsome. Moreover, this gangster is still calling Mr. Yi, which clearly means that his identity is extraordinary. That the diners were either amazed or admired at this time, and everyone's face showed full of curiosity and admiration for Yi Fan. Seeing these gangsters kowtow and admit their mistakes, they felt a little more comfortable. Inexplicably, Chang Zai has fully realized how powerful Yi Fan is, and he quickly admits his mistakes to Yi Fan. Mr. Yi, we were just ignorant and disturbed you and this lady. We really know we were wrong. Please forgive us this time. Yi Fan lowered his eyes and glanced at a few people. The ones who caused trouble were almost beaten by his beatings. Now that you know you were wrong, you should be more careful in the future. And if you do such dirty things as harassing people again, you will know the consequences yourself. There was no discernible ups and downs in Yi Fan's tone, but it was inexplicably majestic and intimidating. Especially this righteous speech fascinated Yukir and the female diners nearby. This is too manly and heroic. Yukir couldn't help but hug Yi Fan's arm and kissed him on the face. This scene directly made the eager female diners feel jealous and sad. The male compatriots had completely lost their sense of existence under Yi Fan. Hearing Yi Fan's warning words, Aaron and Chang Zai repeatedly promised that they would never do it again. Immediately, a dozen gangsters began to divide into several groups, cleaning up the broken glass bottles and scattered tableware and food on the ground. Occasionally, when passers-by saw this scene, they picked up their mobile phones in surprise and took photos and sent them to social networks. Diners who knew the inside story also joined in the discussion on online posts. That night, a Weibo post that read more than a dozen gangsters took the initiative to kneel down and clean up for the owner of a barbecue restaurant after being taught a lesson by a young man quickly made it to the homepage's hot search list. Chapter 53. I don't really want to go back to the dormitory. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Aaron and Xiangzi took the boys to clean up the scene, and after each of them collected some money and returned it to Aunt Rong, they solemnly bowed goodbye to Yi Fan several times and promised not to appear in this area again before finally dared to leave the scene. Aunt Rong looked at the dining area, which was 100 times cleaner than when they set up the stall, and couldn't help but feel so happy on her face. Thanks to you today, Xiaofan. Usually when these gangsters come to my place, they scare my guests. Now they won't come, and my business will finally be more comfortable. Auntie, you're welcome. Yi Fan replied calmly, seeing how Yi Fan had easily vented his anger and solved Aunt Rong's major problem. Yu Qir couldn't suppress the excitement in her heart. After the two said goodbye to Aunt Rong, as soon as Yi Fan was about to start the car, Yu Qir coquettishly said in a shy tone. I don't really want to go back to the dormitory tonight. The corner of Yi Fan's mouth curled up. It's just right, I don't want to take you back to school. The accelerator roared, and Yi Fan took Yu Qir directly to his originally planned destination, Hotel Imperial Mohaira. It is still a hotel owned by Baoli Real Estate. As a boss who owns 75% of the entire Baoli Real Estate, Yi Fan will definitely enjoy the top-notch service no matter which hotel he operates. Yi Fan drove the car to the door of the hotel and stopped. The doorman who greeted the guest came over quickly and was about to ask if he would like to stay at the hotel, when he saw the face that every employee was asked to keep in mind. Hello, Chairman. Just give me your car keys, and we will park the car properly for you. The doorman took Yi Fan's car key and quickly called for an employee in charge of parking. Then he reported Yi Fan's arrival to the hotel staff on the intercom, and then made a 90-degree bow to Yi Fan and Yu Qir. The gesture of inviting people inside. Yi Fan nodded with satisfaction. It seems that since the last incident at the Wenjina Hotel, Zhao Jianrui has trained the following employees quite well, so that there will be no more incidents where his subordinates are short-sighted. Yu Qir was a little shocked and curious when she heard the doorman call Yi Fan. Although she had always known that Yi Fan was very rich, she did not know what specific properties he owned and what his great status was, but now that the doorman calls him the chairman, has this hotel been bought by junior brother Yi Fan? With doubts, Yu Qir was carried into the hotel by Yi Fan. As soon as they entered the hotel, the staff on both sides of the aisle stopped what they were doing and bowed to Yi Fan to say hello. Yi Fan nodded slightly in response, and the staff turned back to their work. When he arrived at the front desk, before Yi Fan could speak, the lady at the front desk had already handed over a golden room card for the top-floor Supreme Suite and said, Good evening, Chairman. We have opened your own exclusive penthouse suite here for you. There is only one room on the top floor. The entire floor is only open to you alone. If you have any needs, you can contact us at any time through the internal line. Okay, thank you. Yi Fan took the card and took Yu Qir to the top floor in the exclusive elevator. Yu Qir could no longer conceal her inner curiosity and asked. Junior brother Yi Fan, if the staff call you this, does this hotel belong to you? Yi Fan made a thoughtful gesture when he heard this. Strictly speaking, not really. What I own is actually the shares of Baoli Real Estate Group to which this hotel belongs, and my position is chairman. This is what the staff just called me. Reason. Yu Qir was stunned when she heard the words Baoli Real Estate Group in Yi Fan's words, that is the leading real estate group in the country. If junior brother Yi Fan can become the chairman of such a group, wouldn't he hold the largest proportion of shares in the entire board of directors? Oh my God! Junior brother, you are so awesome. Yu Qir thought that Mark was powerful, but she never thought that he was so powerful. You know, this kind of real estate group has a market value of at least close to 100 billion. Yu Qir looked at Yi Fan with admiration, not knowing that the Baoli real estate owned by Yi Fan that she learned at this time was just one of his many properties. Junior brother, let us have fun tonight. With such a good man, Yu Qir would naturally do her best to please him. Yu Qir unzipped her skirt directly in front of Mark, then he walked on tiptoes to the large bathtub next to the floor-to-ceiling window, stepped in with one jade leg, quickly wetted his whole body with bubbles, and then posed in various provocative poses. Junior brother, are you sure you don't want to come over now? Yi Fan looked at the beautiful scenery in front of him, and the veins in his body quickly became hot. After a few steps, he arrived in the bathtub. After a while, the water splashed up, and ambiguous sounds echoed throughout the suite. After playing until they got excited, the two of them arrived at the elevator door in the top aisle. Yu Qir was a little shy. What if the staff comes up later? Don't worry, none of them dare to come up without my permission. You, on the other hand, seem a little inattentive. It seems that you forgot about the punishment in the afternoon again, right? Yi Fan's mischief brought back some intense memories for Yu Qir. Just when she wanted to say that she was not unfocused, she was severely punished by Yi Fan again. This battle went on until dawn without even realizing it. At noon the next day, Yu Kur had a sore back and just wanted to get out of bed, when she was grabbed back by Mark. "Junior brother, I will play with you next time. I have to rush back to school in the afternoon." Yu Kur protested softly. In fact, it was just a small reason for going to class. The main reason was that junior brother Yi Fan was really too strong. If this continued, her small body would not be able to bear it. "Be good, I'll let you go after you finish your morning exercise." After Yi Fan finished speaking, the 3-meter-wide bed began to shake irregularly. Half an hour later, Yu Kur finally had the chance to step onto the ground. When she was looking for slippers, her legs were still shaking a little. "I really don't know what you grew up on, but you can actually torture others like this." Yu Kur complained shyly, facing Yi Fan's smiling expression as he looked at her. While she was so handsome, she thought about it and left quickly. No matter how she looked at this expression, she felt that junior brother Yi Fan was going to do something bad again. Yu Kur picked up the skirt on the ground and put it on, blew a kiss to Yi Fan, then walked slowly to take the elevator downstairs. Yi Fan directly called the internal line and asked the staff to deliver some meals. Although more exercise can enhance his physical fitness, he still needs to supplement nutrition after exerting energy. After Yi Fan finished the 2 yuan craft and beef steak specially made for him by the kitchen, he drank a few sips of bottles of Lihua's red wine to clear his mouth, and ended this simple meal. Brunch. After eating and drinking, Yi Fan wanted to vent his energy again. He took the elevator down to the outdoor swimming pool on the 3rd floor. Just when he wanted to move around, he saw Ni Lingyue, who was wearing a suit and talking anxiously on the phone while walking, and accidentally fell into the cold swimming pool. Chapter 54, They Are All Fairies Who Can Make People Angry. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Fan raised his eyebrows, jumped into the swimming pool in a few steps, picked up Ni Lingyue by the waist, and fished him out. After reaching the shore, Ni Lingyue couldn't stop coughing because she choked on the water. When she recovered and wanted to thank the person who rescued her, she realized that the person who rescued her was actually Yi Fan, who solved the trouble for her in Wenji's box last time. "Mr. Yi. Thank you for rescuing me." Yi Fan had cured her previous leg injury, but she didn't expect that she would be saved by him again during this meeting. A strange feeling spread in Ni Lingyue's heart. Yi Fan nodded in response to Ni Lingyue's gratitude, and his eyes just happened to look at the other person. The woman's graceful figure was fully revealed through the thin shirt that was soaked in water. "Miss Ni, your clothes." Yi Fan reminded. Ni Lingyue followed her gaze, her face immediately turned red, and she quickly hugged herself to cover it up. Yi Fan took the coat he had just brought and put it on Ni Lingyue. This gentleman's move made the cold balance in Ni Lingyue's heart tilt a little towards Mark without knowing it. However, the next second, Yi Fan grabbed Ni Lingyue and hugged the princess. "Mr. Yi. You, what are you doing?" "Miss Ni, there are people coming and going here. Are you sure you want to go out with wet clothes? And you should know that this is Baoli's hotel, which is my territory. It's not too late to go to my place and change into clean clothes before leaving." After listening to Yi Fan's words, Ni Lingyue realized that in her current situation, she could only do what Yi Fan said. But why should I be hugged by a princess? She has never been hugged like this by any man in her entire life. But Ni Lingyue also felt that if she raised objections again, it would be a bit too pretentious, so she could only hide her shy face with her face in Yi Fan's arms. Yi Fan smiled at the woman's little moves. It seems that female CEOs are not all powerful and invulnerable. The open-air swimming pool is still a little far away from Yi Fan's personal exclusive elevator. While carrying Ni Lingyue away, Yi Fan's handsome appearance and amazing temperament fascinated the passing female guests. In particular, the muscular lines revealed by exertion under the thin shirt made their hearts flutter. The staff members who knew Yi Fan's identity were all extremely envious of the woman in his arms. Although they all know that the woman at this time is not the same woman who walked with Yi Fan yesterday, they still have a dream in their hearts that they will soon become Yi Fan's next woman. After all, what woman wouldn't love such a rich and handsome man? After entering the exclusive elevator, Ni Lingyue couldn't stand it any longer and asked to get out of Mark's arms. Yi Fan just put Ni Lengyue down at this time, but as soon as Ni Lengyue landed on the ground, her feet wearing stiletto heels failed to stand firm, and her soaked body fell straight into Yi Fan's arms. A soft touch came, and the woman's delicious body fragrance couldn't help but penetrate Yi Fan's nose. Yi Fan couldn't help but sigh. Sure enough, these women who scored 90 points are all very provoking fairies. Ah, I'm sorry. Ni Lengyue quickly lowered her head and left Mark's arms, her face completely burned to the color of a red tomato. When the elevator reached the top floor, as soon as the door opened, Ni Lengyue rushed out immediately. If she stayed in such a confined space any longer, she felt like her face would explode with heat. At this time, Ni Lengyue was surprised to find that there was only one suite on this floor. Mr. Yi, where is this? Yi Fan walked slowly out of the elevator. Oh, this is my exclusive suite. Just wait here for a while. I'll ask the staff to bring you a set of clean clothes. Then thank you, Mr. Yi. Yes, after all, Yi Fan is the largest shareholder of Baoli Real Estate. It is not strange for him to own an exclusive penthouse suite. Ni Lengyue thought of Yi Fan's identity, and her curiosity about him popped up again. She has met many men in business over the years, but none of them can be as charming as Yi Fan at such a young age. What is the financial background behind such a mysterious person? Ni Lengyue suddenly realized that she seemed to care a little too much about Mark. Reason quickly reminded her that this man was the one that her best friend liked. That's right, my curiosity about Yi Fan must be just to see if he is compatible with Sil Xiang. She herself was not interested in exploring Yi Fan, it was all just because of her happiness. After Ni Lengyue finished brainwashing herself, she turned her attention to Yi Fan, who went in and came out again. Yi Fan had put on a clean new shirt at this time. Different from the hormonal temperament that his muscles showed just now, he now looked more delicate and handsome. Ni Lengyue suddenly felt an inexplicable throbbing in her heart. By the way, Miss Ni was talking so anxiously on her mobile phone just now. She was absent-minded, but it's not like your usual calm demeanor. Yi Fan recalled the scene by the swimming pool and asked casually. According to Ni Lengyue's usual temperament, she would have just laughed off this ordinary concern. However, at this time, she subconsciously revealed the difficulties she encountered. Actually, it's because Ni's recent introduction of corporate strategic investment requires new securities companies to endorse it. However, it's a pity. I have almost no relevant industry connections in this area. Even the cooperative company that I had worked so hard to negotiate suddenly said that I would not cooperate if I didn't cooperate. Ni Lengyue didn't even realize how much she had said. As one of the 7 aristocratic families, the Ni family naturally faces considerable operating pressure. However, there is always a cousin in the family who is eyeing her position as president. If she is not careful, she may fall from her position. The cooperative company she had negotiated with just now suddenly retorted. In fact, she more or less guessed that it was her cousin who was responsible, but what can she do? As a female CEO, she is almost used to not being treated well in the business world. In Ni Lengyue's words, Yi Fan heard a somewhat familiar term. Securities company. I do have one. I wonder if Miss Ni from Guangfa Securities, do you think we can cooperate? Hearing Yi Fan say the words Guangfa Securities in a sparse and ordinary tone, Ni Lengyue was shocked and stunned on the spot. Chapter 55. She owes him a favor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Are you talking about Guangfa Securities, a securities firm with a total asset size of between 300 billion and 5,000 billion, a very established qualification, and an absolute reputation across the country? Ni Lengyue was completely shocked now, so she wanted to confirm further quickly. Yi Fan took out his mobile phone and flipped through the headquarters information that Guangfa Securities had sent him before. After looking at it for a few times, he replied, well, that's right, this is it. Listening to Yi Fan's calm tone, as if he was talking about cabbage costing 1 yuan per kilogram, Ni Lengyue took a deep breath to calm down, but in fact, some group bosses have always made various investments. Yi Fan should only mean that he holds a small share of Guangfa Securities, right? Thinking of this, Ni Lengyue finally calmed down a little. Mr. Yi, although I really need such a brokerage partner now, I would really regret it if I had to trouble you to go out of my way to negotiate with shareholders and make suggestions. Trouble? No trouble, I just need to tell their general manager directly. I have absolute control of Guangfa Securities, so this little thing is easy to do. Yi Fan still said in a normal tone, as if he was talking about what to have for lunch. Ni Lingyue lost her composure after hearing this. Absolute controlling interest. You know, for a limited liability company, even if it holds more than 50% of the shares, it is only a relative control, and only if it holds more than 67% of the shares, it is an absolute control. This means that Yi Fan now holds more than 67% of the shares of Guangfa Securities. Oh my gosh! What kind of terrifying existence is this? Even someone as well-informed as Ni Lingyue has never heard of a young talent of his age owning one of the best real estate companies and then also having an established securities firm that is not an extension of his own industry. For this level of configuration, other elites generally have to rely on their own family's years of accumulation to be able to achieve this level. The power behind this man is definitely much more unfathomable than she imagined. Compared with her previous curiosity about Mark, Ni Lingyue now felt a bit of admiration for Mark in her heart. Having experienced the business battlefield for a long time, it is indeed difficult not to admire such a powerful young talent. She slowed down and sincerely expressed her request to Mark. Mr. Yi, if I can really establish a cooperative relationship with China Guangfa Securities thanks to you, I will definitely remember this favor from you for the rest of my life. If you ever need me in the future, I will do my best. Although Ni Lingyue knew that what she had was completely inadequate compared to Mark, but at this time, she could only use everything she had in exchange for this opportunity to cooperate. Yi Fan narrowed his eyes. He didn't care about other people's favor, but with 90% of the beauty's favor, there's a lot he can do from now on. No problem, I'll tell them now. After saying that, Yi Fan made the call and finished explaining to his subordinates in a few words. Okay, Guangfa Securities staff will contact you later in the afternoon to discuss cooperation. Seeing Yi Fan use a phone call that took less than 1 minute to solve the things that she had been unable to do these days, Ni Lingyue's inner admiration for Yi Fan unknowingly rose to a level that she could not even imagine. Unexpected height, even the quiet love grows and spreads crazily without realizing it. Thank you very much, Mr. Yi Fan. Ni Lingyue took a step forward. Before she could finish her words, her unstable stiletto heels caused her to trip on the plush carpet again. This time, she threw herself firmly on Mark, and her panicked hand subconsciously hugged Mark's waist tightly. It looked like she took the initiative to throw herself into Yi Fan's arms. Yi Fan's teasing smile came from above her head. Ms. Ni, do you want to repay me directly by promising yourself? Ni Lingyue's face heated up at these words. She hurriedly wanted to leave Yi Fan's warm and generous chest, but as soon as she took a step back, her arm was pulled by Yi Fan again, and she fell into Yi Fan's arms again. Mr. Yi, what are you doing? Yi Fan circled the person tightly in his arms. The water in the swimming pool was so cold just now, and you accidentally fell into my arms, so you can keep warm in my arms. Different from Ni Lingyue's always cold-faced appearance, her entire body is fragrant and soft, making it very comfortable to hold. Yi Fan is no longer the kind of idiot he used to be who worried about being disliked by girls if he accidentally did something outrageous. As his net worth has skyrocketed and his skills in picking up girls have gradually improved, he has understood that these slightly tough actions are a test method that can heat up the relationship. Ni Lingyue was held in Yi Fan's arms, and the distance between the two was so close that she could clearly hear the latter's heartbeat. In fact, according to her usual code of conduct, she would definitely push Mark away immediately, but when she felt the hot temperature coming from Mark's chest, she inexplicably wanted to indulge once. Without thinking about anything, just being held by Mark, she had to admit one thing, that is, her embrace of Mark had begun to be greedy. After a while, a staff member delivered a clean suit that fit Ni Lingyue's size. Seeing someone coming, Ni Lingyue hurriedly left Mark's arms as if she had just woken up from a dream. Just think of it as a dream, just having it for a short moment is enough. Ni Lingyue took the bag from the staff, and only then did she realize that there was a pair of brand new flat shoes inside. Yi Fan actually, even considered this. There was another softness in my heart that was hit by Mark's thoughtfulness, but Ni Lingyue also knew very well that her best friend Tao Sile first met and liked this man. Thank you Mr. Yi, I owe you a favor. After Ni Lingyue quickly changed her clothes in the bathroom, she came out and left these words with Mark, and then left quickly as if she was escaping from something. Yi Fan looked at Ni Lingyue's back, then picked up the red wine and took a sip. The flash in his eyes was the light that a hunter must have when looking at his prey. In the next few days, Yukir traveled between the university and the hotel. Although she was always tortured by Mark, her body and mind still missed him all the time, so whenever she had time, Yukir couldn't help but come to the hotel to be gentle with Yi Fan. Junior brother Yi Fan, do you think you have poisoned others? I am thinking about you in class now, and when I am chatting with the little sisters, all I can think about is you. Yukir lay in Yi Fan's arms and drew circles on his heart with her fingers, saying coquettishly. I don't care, you must promise me. No matter how many warblers you meet in the future, you must never let go of me. Chapter 56. This doesn't make sense. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After saying that, Yukira quickly took the initiative to put her arms around Mark's neck and gave him several sweet kisses on his face. Don't worry, I've thought about it all. Next, I will set aside a house in my name and put it in your name for you to live in. You can just be obedient and be hidden in my golden house. Yi Fan said as he patted Yukira's soft buttocks. Yukira's eyes lit up as soon as she heard that Mark was going to give herself a house. Really, dear? Do you really want to give me a house? Can I ask where it is? Yukira showed up in front of Yi Fan with a cooing expression, and kept busy with a series of movements on her hands. Yi Fan smiled. Sometimes Yukira's straightforward metal-worshipping nature, in his opinion, why did he still feel inexplicably open and endearing? This is probably because he is rich enough now and knows that he will continue to become rich, which brings confidence and fun. Yi Fan recalled the rewards mentioned by the system last time. Anyway, he would definitely complete the task successfully, so the rounding rewards would not be possible even if they were announced early or late. It's the house in Jinjiang Mansion next to Imperial University. What? Really? A house in Jinjiang Mansion? Honey, I love you so much. Upon hearing this, Yukira immediately tried her best to make Yi Fan happy, to express her happiness and admiration and gratitude to Yi Fan. You know, Jinyu is one of the best luxury residential complexes in the entire imperial capital. Every square meter costs nearly 20 yuan. Not to mention that the smallest housing areas there are large flat floors with an area of more than 100 square meters. In other words, even if Yi Fan gave her the smallest room, it would cost a full 2,000 million. This man is really too kind to her. Where can I find such a generous man outside now? Yukira's love for Yi Fan was so full that it could soar into the sky. In return, she naturally worked harder to make Yi Fan happy. After a night of physical enhancement activities, Yi Fan was full of energy. As noon approached, he put aside Yukira, who was so tired that she fell asleep completely, and drove to the agreed-upon reunion place for high school classmates, Wangfujing Street, the imperial capital, Mandarin East Restaurant. Yi Fan arrived a little later than the agreed time. After finding a place to park the car, he walked into the restaurant unhurriedly. Yi Fan walked straight to the private room where the group called him. At this time, Tang Xiao, who was eating and drinking from her restaurant, was telling the staff the name of the dish she wanted to eat. With a casual glance, she saw the man who made her fall in love at first sight last time. What a coincidence. I actually met him at my family's restaurant. With just one glance, Tang Xiao instantly forgot the idea of having a feast, and followed Yi Fan closely to see which private room he was going to. Yi Fan came to the party box. Before he entered the door, he heard a familiar voice boasting loudly, and the voices of other people echoing the compliments followed. When he opened the door, it turned out to be Liao Chang, whom he had never dealt with in high school. Looking around casually, Yi Fan found another disgusting person, his first love girlfriend Yi Xiaoxiao, who had just been slapped in the face by him in SKP last time. Damn it. I forgot that this person was in the same class as me. However, with Yi Fan's current height, he could just ignore these people, and there was no need to waste unnecessary emotions on them. Yi Fan's appearance instantly attracted everyone's attention. Is this Marquis? Why is he so much more handsome than when he was a student? He's so handsome. His temperament is completely different. He looks so elite. Several female classmates started talking quietly. with a hint of shyness on their expressions. When Liao Chang heard everyone's praise and discussion of Yi Fan, he felt unhappy and immediately started to get angry. Yo! Who do I think is arriving so late? Sure enough, our classmate Yi Fan is a very busy man. He even came so late to a class reunion. When he was in high school, Yi Fan stole the show in high school because of his good grades and good looks. He even got together with Yi Xiaoxiao, the class beauty that Liao Chang liked. Because of this incident, Liao Chang has always disliked Yi Fan. Recently, he finally started a small business with his friends and made money. He specially took the lead in organizing this class reunion this time, just to show off in front of all the classmates, slap Yi Fan hard in the face, and catch Yi Xiaoxiao on the spot. Liao Chang is complacent about the overall plan he has thought up. Xiaoxiao on the side suddenly stepped forward and helped Yi Fan speak. Actually, we all have just arrived, haven't we? Mark is here now, and the dishes have just been served. It's just the right time to start the party. Yi Xiaoxiao's eyes were firmly glued to Yi Fan when he appeared just now. Since the last time she met Yi Fan in SKP, she has been thinking about how she can return to Yi Fan. Unexpectedly, she was made to wait for the news that Mark would attend this class reunion. She originally had little interest in this kind of gathering to reunite with poor old friends. When she heard that Mark was coming, she naturally wanted to use this opportunity to perform well. Hearing that Yi Xiaoxiao actually took the initiative to speak for Mark, and even looked at Mark's affectionate look, Liao Chang suddenly felt puzzled and angry. Didn't it mean that the reason why Yi Xiaoxiao broke up with Yi Fan before was because she disliked him for having no money? Why is she looking at Mark so infatuatedly now? This makes no sense. The more Liao Chang thought about it, the less he could think of a reason, so he simply stopped thinking about it and quickly became attentive in front of Yi Xiaoxiao. What Xiaoxiao said makes sense, so classmates, let's take a seat quickly. After hearing this, all the students came to sit down at the dining table. Just as Yi Fan wanted to ask Fang Wenlin to sit with him, he saw this guy being stupidly pushed and sat down between two occupied seats. There was no other way, so Yi Fan had no choice but to sit down in the empty space opposite Fang Wenlin. Xiaoxiao, come and sit here, this seat has a good view. Liao Chang quickly pulled out the chair next to his seat and eagerly invited Yi Xiaoxiao over. However, Yi Xiaoxiao followed Yi Fan with her eyes, and when she saw that there was a seat next to him, she immediately came to sit next to Yi Fan in a few steps. No need, I just sit next to Mark. Yi Xiaoxiao looked at Mark with a little shyness and said. Seeing this move, Liao Qianren was immediately stunned. He quickly lowered his head and looked at the clothes he was wearing today, which showed all the luxury logos on the surface, as well as the expensive jewelry and watches he wore around his neck and hands. That's no problem. A discerning person should have noticed that he is very rich. Then why is Yi Xiaoxiao following Yi Fan with all her heart and eyes? Chapter 57, Just to Save Mark. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There was no other way. Liao Chang had no choice but to push the chair next to him, and again, regarding the current situation, Liao Chang immediately found a reasonable explanation for himself. That's because he was still a little too low-key, so Yi Xiaoxiao couldn't see who she should deal with now. Thinking like this, Liao Chang thought that he must take back the home court in a while. Seeing that his classmates were all seated, he quickly took the lead and raised the wine glass in his hand. Dear old classmates, I will take care of all the food and drinks for today. I hope you won't dislike the fact that this place I chose is too shabby. After hearing this, several classmates immediately toasted and complimented. Liao Chang, look where you are talking. Everyone knows that this is a hotel owned by the Tang family. If you don't have some financial resources and connections, you won't be able to get the private rooms here. That's right, Brother Chang. If you are so humble now that you are rich, then you are not leaving a way for all of us to survive. The compliments from several people made Liao Chang's complexion look much better. He immediately waved his hand as if it was just a trivial matter. No, it's just that I happen to be an old acquaintance with the lady from the Tang family, so booking a private room at Mandarin East Point is just a small matter. Awesome, Brother Chang. I didn't expect that not only would you make money now, but you would also be connected to these aristocratic families. The eyes of all the students suddenly shone with envy. Being in contact with the aristocratic family must prove that Liao Chang's financial background at this time has reached a point that cannot be underestimated. At least the resources and connections are already 100 times wider than ordinary people like them. Several classmates who knew what was going on immediately toasted Liao Chang with several glasses of wine. By the way, Brother Chang, this Miss Tang has never appeared in front of the media. Since you know her, is she good-looking? Well. Liao Chang took a sip of the red wine in his hand and paused mysteriously. In fact, he doesn't know Miss Tang at all, but for a party, bragging is a must. Moreover, Liao Chang already thinks that he is the best person in this box, so naturally he will not worry about his lies being exposed. Amid everyone's curious eyes, Liao Chang suddenly glanced at Yi Xiaoxiao who was standing aside. Actually, Miss Tang's appearance is just like that. I don't think she can compare to our class beauty Xiaoxiao. After hearing this, everyone immediately started cheering. Then at this time, Yi Xiaoxiao didn't even look at Liao Chang, but still stared at Yi Fan heartily. Yi Fan was concentrating on eating the food, looking so dignified that he didn't want anyone to get involved. Yi Xiaoxiao's disregard for Liao Chang made him a little angry. Seeing that his previous bragging had no effect, he immediately took out his car keys and put them on the table pretending to be careless. Sharp-eyed classmates immediately noticed this scene. Wow! Brother Chang, you are driving a Maybach now. What model is your car? This brand of car is not cheap, right? It's okay. The Maybach S480 I just bought recently is not expensive, about 150 million. Liao Chang tried his best to pretend to be calm and calm. As expected, the price made all the students present envious and jealous. A car worth 150 million. Oh my god, this can buy a nice house in our hometown. Brother Chang is so awesome. He hasn't even graduated from college yet, but he bought a car with money that he may never earn in his lifetime. Brother Chang, I respect you. Several people at the table were vying to toast Liao Chang, so as to take the opportunity to get closer. The smile on Liao Chang's lips was so proud that he couldn't suppress it. That's what everyone said. I'm actually not as great as everyone says. You may develop much better than me in the future. As Liao Chang spoke, he directed the topic to Mark. You said so, Yi Fan. When you came in just now, everyone said that your temperament looks different. Why don't you share it with everyone? Which company's offer are you planning to sign after graduation? Yi Fan smiled faintly, and the idiot really started. I'm not planning to sign with any company. I'm just enjoying my last period of college and waiting to lie down after graduation. Yi Fan said truthfully. When Liao Chang heard this, he immediately shook his head vigorously with a look of pity. Yi Fan, as a classmate, I have to say something to you. You are so young now, why are you so weak and slack in your thinking? We men living in society can't be like this now. Maybe you are because you have seen too many people like me who have achieved results at a young age, and you have been shocked in your heart. You feel that you can't catch up no matter how hard you try, so you lose. I have gained confidence and want to choose to lie down. But if you really do nothing, just eat your old age and become a scum of society, how can you marry a wife and raise children in the future? When Liao Chang said wife and children, he emphasized the emphasis on Yi Xiaoxiao's side, for fear that Yi Xiaoxiao would not understand his hint. So we young people still have to keep working hard and making progress. If you really encounter difficulties, just tell Brother Chang that I will find you a cleaning job or something in the company. There is still a way. After Liao Chang finished speaking, he quickly agreed with his classmates. Everyone, tell me if I am right. Although the students present more or less heard the gun and stick implications of Liao Chang's words, in order not to offend him, they all responded diligently. Yes. Brother Chang is right. We young people should work harder and learn from Brother Chang. Liao Chang nodded with satisfaction. Seeing that Yi Xiaoxiao didn't respond, he immediately added. Xiaoxiao, what about you? You must agree with my idea. From just now, Yi Xiaoxiao was tired of Liao Chang always trying to show his presence in front of her. Now she rolled her eyes and replied perfunctorily, yes, 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 yes. After receiving a positive response from Yi Xiaoxiao, Liao Chang went crazy with joy. He realized that now was the perfect time. Immediately, he stood up from his seat. took out the diamond necklace he had prepared, and came to Yi Xiaoxiao. Xiao. In fact, I have liked you for many years. My main purpose of this gathering today is to express my love to you. You have seen my conditions just now, so I want to ask you now, are you willing to be my girlfriend? That the students immediately stood up and started cheering, shouting together, followed by applause and urging. Liao Chang has never been so proud as he is now. He finally did it. Trampling Mark under his feet, his beloved girl will soon become his girlfriend. Yi Xiaoxiao listened to the crowd's booing, but shot an impatient look at Liao Chang, who was kneeling beside him. Then she slammed the jewelry box in Liao Chang's hand to the ground, her tone full of disgust. Liao Chang, please be aware of yourself. I don't like you at all. I will come to the class reunion today just to save Yi Fan. Chapter 58. Call him dear. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Yi Xiaoxiao finished speaking, she pushed away Liao Chang, who was sandwiched between her and Yi Fan, and began to cry in front of Yi Fan. Yi Fan, everything that happened was my fault. I shouldn't have been so greedy that I broke up with you just for the so-called money. In fact, I have been thinking about you every day for the past few years, and I have never really let go of you. Now I have completely realized that you are the only one who treats me best. I also understand that feelings are much more important than material things. We are each other's first love. Please, give me another chance. How about getting back together with you? Yi Fan couldn't help but sneered when he saw Yi Xiaoxiao immersed in the performance. Why the hell didn't I realize this woman was so good at acting before? Why is emotion more important than material things? Is she doing it for emotion? Isn't it because you saw how generously you spent money on Yukir last time that you were jealous? When Yi Fan thought that his first love was with such a snobbish woman, the few good memories he had left in the past were completely shattered into pieces at this moment. The students present were completely confused when they saw Yi Xiaoxiao's appearance of trying to save Yi Fan regardless of her image. When did Yi Fan become so charming? Yi Xiaoxiao, who has had several rich second-generation boyfriends, can actually make her regret like this. Liao Chang was completely stunned by Yi Xiaoxiao. He searched on the ground for a long time before he found the necklace she had thrown away. He quickly grabbed the necklace in his hand and came to Yi Xiaoxiao again, with an expression of incomprehension on his face. Xiaoxiao, why? Can't you see how much better my current conditions are than Yi Fan? With Yi Fan looking like a poor loser and not wanting to make progress, what's so good about it? Hearing Liao Chang's obstruction, Yi Xiaoxiao scolded him hundreds of times in her heart. Why is this short man always here to prevent her from showing interest in Yi Fan? How could his 3 melons and 2 dates compare with Yi Fan? Liao Chang felt heartbroken when he saw Yi Xiaoxiao ignoring him and crying in front of Yi Fan, trying to save her, but Yi Fan remained indifferent. Yi Fan. If you make Xiaoxiao cry like this, don't you need to say something to comfort her? Hearing Liao Chang's words, Yi Fan didn't even bother to give him a look. Another mentally retarded dog-licking man. You can comfort me if you like, I'm not stopping you. You. Liao Chang was extremely angry, his face as dark as anything. At this moment, the box door was suddenly opened, and a crisp female voice sounded. Dear. Why didn't you tell me in advance when you came to the store? Tang Xia walked straight to Mark with excitement, then hugged his neck in a very intimate manner. Just now, after following Yi Fan outside the box, she lay dormant for a long time. Unexpectedly, the conversation inside became more and more strange, so I thought about coming in to rescue Yi Fan. Yi Fan couldn't help but smile when he looked at the strange Tang Xiao who suddenly appeared. It seems that this girl came here specially to put on a show of beauty, saving the hero. This behavior was very consistent with his impression of her when he first met her last time. Others were a little puzzled and surprised when they saw Tang Xiao's appearance. The main thing is that the woman who is hugging Mark and calling him darling is so beautiful. If Yi Xiaoxiao scores 80 points as the class beauty, then in the eyes of these classmates, this woman is a beauty with a score of 95 or above. Compared with her, Yi Xiaoxiao is completely inferior. Several male classmates showed envy of Yi Fan in their eyes, and Liao Chang even snorted with some jealousy. Xiaoxiao looked at Tang Xiao who suddenly appeared. For a moment, she forgot about her performance of crying bitterly. She pointed at Tang Xiao and started questioning. You. Who are you? Why are you holding Mark like this? Me? Of course I am Mark's girlfriend. But you, who are you? As Tang Xiao spoke, she put her hands on her hips and looked directly at Yi Xiaoxiao's hostility towards her. Impossible. Yi Fan wouldn't like a girl like you. It's so funny, if you don't like girls like me, then does Mark Yi like Obasan like you? Tang Xiao's eloquent response immediately made Yi Xiaoxiao angry for a long time. Yi Fan looked at Tang Xiao's bold and fearless look, and the smile on his face became thicker. This girl is indeed much more energetic and lively than he imagined. At this time, other students looked at the scene where Tang Xiao and Yi Xiaoxiao were quarreling with each other over Mark, and all of them were envious. Sure enough, being handsome is useful. Yi Fan actually made two beauties quarrel like this over him. When will I get this kind of treatment? Liao Chang felt extremely unhappy when he saw that his limelight had been taken away by Yi Fan again, in order to show off again in front of Yi Xiaoxiao, and to attract the admiring eyes of his classmates back to him. He suddenly stepped forward and stopped in front of Tang Xiao. Miss, I heard you right. You just mentioned the hotel. Do you mean that the hotel belongs to you? This is the Tang family's shop. Do you still want to say that you are the daughter of the Tang family? Liao Chang asked confidently. The woman in front of her looked young and beautiful, and her lively appearance did not look like a young lady from a noble family. He seriously suspected that this person was just an extra hired by Yi Fan, otherwise how could there be such a coincidence? And if Yi Fan is a poor boy with no money, why should he let a lady from a famous family become his girlfriend? Yeah. Didn't Brother Chang just say that he and Miss Tang are old acquaintances? Then he must recognize Miss Tang. Does this mean that Yi Fan's girlfriend is telling lies? That everyone began to speculate, looking at Tang Xiao and Yi Fan's expressions. Suddenly there was a hint of ridicule. Tang Xiao got angry, pointed at Liao Chang's nose and started to curse. Please, old man, I'm not Miss Tang, are you? And I don't even know you. Who is your old acquaintance? You. Who do you call old man? Liao Chang was originally worried about the fact that he looked older than his peers, but now Tang Xiao's words pierced his heart, and he was instantly angry to death. Yi Fan saw how Tang Xiao made Yi Xiaoxiao and Liao Chang so angry that he couldn't even hold back his laughter. This woman is really interesting. On the other side, Liao Chang was angry and thinking of ways to reveal the woman's identity, and suddenly remembered an auctioneer friend he had just met downstairs. Got it. This auctioneer friend of mine is a member of a family who has never seen him before. If she is a real Miss Tang, he will definitely remember her appearance. After a while, Liao Chang quickly told everyone that he would invite a great friend of his to come up. Chapter 59 Successfully Crossed Classes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a while, Zhang Qingqing, the auctioneer friend Liao Chang said, came to the door of the box. Liao Chang's eyes lit up and he immediately introduced him to everyone. Let me introduce to you. This friend of mine is a well-known figure in the entire Imperial Capital Auction House. He has hosted all public and private auctions, large and small. There are almost no dignitaries he does not know. After such an introduction, all the students looked at Zhang Qing with admiration. Zhang Qing quickly waved his hand and said that Liao Chang was exaggerating. Although he is an auctioneer, to be honest, he is just a senior waiter. At most, it was just a meeting with those powerful big guys, which is not really an acquaintance. Otherwise, why would he still have to associate with someone of Liao Chang's level? But Liao Chang doesn't care about this. Touting Zhang Qingqing is to praise himself in disguise. As long as it is confirmed in front of everyone that he has connections. Just when Liao Chang was about to explain to Zhang Qing why he came up, everyone saw Zhang Qing's eyes suddenly brighten and he walked straight towards Tang Xiao who was standing with his hands outstretched. Ms. Tang. It's really you. What a coincidence, I didn't expect to run into you in your store today. Although you may not know me, I have been lucky enough to catch a glimpse of your stunning appearance and generous actions during several auctions. Tang Xiao raised her eyebrows. Zhang Cheng's compliment made her feel good, so she gave him a relatively friendly nod. Liao Chang and other students suddenly couldn't hold their nerves when they saw Zhang Qing obviously trying to flatter Tang Xiao. Did you all hear that? This auctioneer friend of Brother Chang not only called this beautiful lady Miss Tang, but also said that this is her family's shop. So, this beautiful woman who claims to be Yi Fan's girlfriend is the daughter of the Tang family, one of the 7 aristocratic families, and she didn't run away. Liao Chang also didn't expect that this beautiful but somewhat arrogant woman was actually the lady of the Tang family. He looked at Tang Xiao's eyes looking at him with disgust, and he was frightened, not to mention feeling guilty. From this point of view, Miss Tang is obviously hundreds of times more beautiful than Yi Xiaoxiao. Then what Liao Chang said just now, Miss Tang can only be regarded as okay, not as good as Yi Xiaoxiao, isn't it just him? Are you flattering Yi Xiaoxiao? That's right. Anyone who isn't blind can see that this Miss Tang has clearly dumped Yi Xiaoxiao a few blocks away, but this Liao Chang is still here talking nonsense without even drafting it. Several female classmates who had always been unhappy with Yi Xiaoxiao's style took the opportunity to ridicule him. Others also realized the flaw in Liao Chang's words belatedly. In that case, if Liao Chang just suspected the identity of Miss Tang, doesn't it prove that he actually doesn't know Miss Tang at all? Oh my gosh, this is so hypocritical. You clearly don't know Ms. Tang, but you still use her precious identity to promote yourself. I have some doubts about the things Liao Chang boasted about himself just now. Maybe they are all fake. The revelation of Tang Xiao's true identity immediately changed the direction of the scene. Many classmates couldn't help but cast a scrutinizing look at Liao Chang, but Yi Fan, who had always been calm and showing extraordinary magnanimity, captured the favor of all his classmates without doing anything. It seems that no matter how Liao Chang targets Yi Fan, he is still no match for him. This young lady from an aristocratic family is so good-looking and was taken over by Yi Fan without a word. Then isn't Yi Fan going to successfully cross the class line? Already? No, this is the Tang family, one of the 7 aristocratic families. The wealth and connections behind it are beyond what ordinary people like us can imagine. Several male compatriots could not help but shed tears of envy. Why are students from the same class not as good as Yi Fan? They also wanted to hug the rich woman's thighs and shout, "I'm hungry, I'm hungry." These days, being able to afford this level of soft food is a huge skill. Yi Xiaoxiao couldn't help but feel a little angry when she saw everyone praising Tang Xiao and admiring Yi Fan. After learning about Tang Xiao's identity, she immediately grabbed Liao Chang, who was sweating beside him, and asked, "Liao Chang, please tell me what a noble family is. Is it really so powerful? Why are the students completely one-sided now?" Liao Chang had no choice but to wipe the cold sweat that kept oozing out and explain to Yi Xiaoxiao. Each of the 7 major aristocratic families in the imperial capital has a family group with a market value of at least tens of billions, and the direct heirs like Miss Tang all have personal net worths of at least several billion. What? Hearing that Tang Xiao's backstory was so big, Yi Xiaoxiao's face instantly turned pale. The hope of getting back together with Mark was instantly shattered. How could she possibly be able to compete with such a proud girl? With a sound of wow, Xiaoxiao couldn't hold back and burst into tears. The scene suddenly became a mess. Yi Fan felt the envious glances directed at him from other male classmates and was immediately speechless. I am also very rich myself, okay? With his wealth, does he still need to live on the soft rice of a small Tang family? At this time, Zhang Qing finished greeting Tang Xiao and turned around to leave. His vision happened to change, and he suddenly saw a big boss who he didn't have time to recognize because he was blocked by Tang Xiao. Oh my god! Mr. Yi! So you are here too? It's really my fault that I didn't see you in time just now. Zhang Qing's steps to leave instantly stopped. His eyes were several times brighter than when he saw Tang Xiao just now, and he walked quickly to Mark. He stretched out his hands to shake Yi Fan's hand, and the hands he extended could still be seen clearly trembling due to excitement. The more than 150 million you spent at a private auction last time was a huge amount that I have never seen in all my years of work. It is precisely because of your generosity that our imperial capital, the auction house, has unlocked a new record. I am honored to see you here today. Please allow me to once again express my highest gratitude to you on behalf of our industry. After Zhang Qing finished speaking excitedly, he gave Yi Fan a 90-degree bow. Seeing Zhang Qing's sincere expression, Yi Fan politely stretched out his hand to shake his hand. Zhang Qing was extremely happy by Yi Fan's hold. By the way, Mr. Yi, I also participated in the discussion of the 80 yuan private yacht that was awarded to you as a special award last time. I wonder how you feel after experiencing it. You can feel free to raise any issues you feel dissatisfied with, and I will go back immediately to provide feedback to the relevant staff. It's not bad, the experience is okay, there's nothing that needs special improvement. Yi Fan recalled the time he spent playing on the yacht with Qiao Shiding. It was indeed a good memory. Let's continue next time. Zhang Cheng looked at Yi Fan's good-tempered and easygoing look, and his eyes showed a little more respect for Yi Fan. As for the other people present, listening to the back-and-forth conversation between the two, and seeing Zhang Qing being extremely pious and Yi Fan looking like a big boss, their faces were all filled with extreme shock. Chapter 60 I Just Want to Be Your Girlfriend. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A classmate quickly swallowed his saliva and tried to calm himself down. Did you hear just now? The auctioneer said, Yi Fan sold a huge sum of more than 150 million yuan at the auction. Oh my god. A classmate who was not good at math quickly started counting with his fingers, 7 digits. 8 digits. Damn it, it's actually 9 digits. How much wealth do you have to pay such a high price in a small auction? The sound of inhaling was heard one after another. The students looked at Yi Fan with a hint of fear in their admiration. If it was only a few 100,000 or millions, then they would definitely be truly envious, but now what Yi Fan spends casually is worth hundreds of millions. This also means that compared to ordinary people like them, the current Yi Fan is completely different. Facing this kind of existence that was hundreds of times more powerful than them, the students inevitably became a little cautious, and Liao Chang, who learned about Yi Fan's feat, instantly lost all color on his face. My legs couldn't stop shaking like crazy. How come I haven't seen him for just a few years, but Yi Fan has grown into such a big shot? How dare he get carried away in front of Mark with the 3 melons and 2 dates that he finally earned through his hard work to start a business. At this moment, Liao Chang's heart was filled with regret. He quickly shrank behind other students, trying to make himself the most invisible existence. After a while, seeing that Yi Fan didn't act like a rich man, the other students dared to discuss it a little bit. The inference we made just now is so stupid. We actually said that Yi Fan fell in love with a rich woman. He is obviously the one who is really rich. That's right. Although the names of these aristocratic families are very resounding, not many of them can do it if they spend 100 million at a private auction. At least the Tang family of these 3 small families is not good at it. Indeed. If Yi Fan hadn't been strong enough, how could he have known these young ladies from aristocratic families and successfully captured Miss Tang? It seems that you have to be tough in order to make iron. Brother Fan is awesome. That's right. Brother Fan is the most awesome. All the students figured out the truth of the matter, and all of them had endless admiration and worship for Yi Fan at this moment. Also from the same class, Yi Fan has not only accumulated such a terrifying wealth at a young age, but also has a girlfriend from an aristocratic family who loves him with all her heart and eyes. This is not a role model for life. Brother Fan is awesome. Shouted in the entire box. Fong Wenlin, who was sitting opposite Yi Fan, immediately shouted with the crowd and made the 666 sign to Yi Fan crazily. Yi Fan helplessly held his forehead. This silly boy was even joining in the fun with others. Xiao Xiao, who had been crying since just now, was so heartbroken that she almost fainted from crying after hearing the number 150 million. She reluctantly cast her gaze at Mark, and saw Tang Xiao looking intimate next to him, thinking that she had no chance at all. Yi Xiao wailed one last time and rushed out of the door. Tang Xiao was almost knocked away by Yi Xiao, who rushed out like a bull. She hurriedly avoided and accidentally sat in Mark's arms. Seeing the handsome face of the man in front of her so close, Tang Xiao's little heart started beating again. Sure enough, Yi Fan's handsome appearance has amazing lethality to her, a face-controlling person. However, after a while, Tang Xiao thought of Yifan's rich net worth that Zhang Cheng had just revealed, and her mood suddenly became a little complicated. She also had no idea that the handsome guy she fell in love with at first sight would be so rich. In such a comparison, my own net worth may not be worthy of his. Tang Xiao, who was originally full of confidence in wanting to win over Yifan, couldn't help but retreat. Zhang Cheng and Yifan exchanged respectful greetings and left. "Everyone, stop being stunned and continue eating," Yifan greeted, and the students quickly moved their chairs back to the dining table and slowly picked up their chopsticks. Liao Fan, on the other hand, returned to his position with his head down in despair. He didn't dare to raise his head anymore and quickly took his chopsticks and pretended to concentrate on eating. Tang Xiao here has turned away from being a guest and just sat in Yifan's arms, feeding Yifan bite by bite with vegetables. Yifan narrowed his eyes and a faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. This woman is pretty good at talking or not. Several other male classmates couldn't help but cast envious looks at Mark. What a joy it would be if they were fed food on the spot by such a beautiful lady from a wealthy family. Not long after everyone started using their chopsticks, a waiter suddenly ran into the box in a hurry. "Is there any owner of the Koenigsegg Gemera parked at the door here? The traffic situation in front of the hotel is a bit complicated now. I need to ask this gentleman to move his seat." That when a male classmate who loves cars heard about this car, his eyes immediately lit up and he started to educate everyone about it. Mandarin East Place is indeed a place where rich people gather. The Koenigsegg the waiter mentioned is a car worth nearly 2,000 million. Damn it, isn't that the same as driving out of an apartment in the imperial capital? This is too awesome. Several male classmates were talking excitedly. At this time, Yifan just took a long time to take out the Koenigsegg car keys from his pocket and handed them to the waiter. "I am the owner of the Koenigsegg. You can just take the car key and ask your staff to help me move it." Okay. "Thank you sir for your cooperation." After the waiter finished speaking, he immediately held Koenigsegg's key and walked out of the box door. The students who had been discussing with gusto just now opened their mouths wide when they saw this scene, and the food held in their chopsticks fell directly into the bowl. The female classmates looked at Yifan with hearts in their eyes. Liao Chang still lowered his head to pick up the food in the bowl, but silently wrapped his 150 million Maybach car keys on the table with his hands, and then quickly put them back into his pocket and stuffed them tightly. After the meal is finished, the party is over. Liao Chang took the lead, saying that he had something to do and left in a hurry. The classmates were too lazy to look at him anymore, and stood up one after another to say goodbye to Mark before leaving one by one. Fang Wenlin looked at Tang Xiao and Yifan's close relationship, and said goodbye to him, leaving the space in the box for the two of them. Tang Xiao sat on Mark's lap with no intention of getting down, and scooped up another bowl of soup to feed Mark. "Everyone has left, do you want Miss Tang to continue acting?" Yifan asked with a chuckle. Tang Xiao pursed her lips, with a slightly cunning expression on her face, and slowly moved closer to Mark. "I'm not acting. I just want to be your girlfriend, isn't that okay?"